Hey guys, what is going on? It is TBC Tech here again today. I'm Missy, and today we are going to be reviewing the game Need for Speed Rivals on the Xbox One. Now this game is on various other platforms, including the PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, and PC consoles. Now, as you can tell by the name of the game, it's obviously another entry into the Need for Speed franchise. And like I said, as you can tell, rivals meaning cops versus racers. Now, where this gets a little bit confusing is the actual gameplay of it. I'm gonna get into that in a second, but just bear with me. So, I'll go ahead and talk about the cop gameplay first. While you're playing as the cop, or a cop, things can get repetitive, and they can get repetitive quickly. Meaning, the driving in the game is fine, by the way. That's not what gets repetitive. What gets repetitive is the quests or missions that it sends you on, where you have to do certain objectives, and that can get really repetitive really quickly. I found myself just driving around and having a blast doing that. The open world is small, but it's still very fun to go around and do stunts and just drive around in the open world. As a cop, you can also do that because the cops aren't very law-abiding. But as the cop, you know, you have to take down racers, and you can also do these time trial things, where it's kind of reckless. It's just a cop kind of driving around for no specific reason and bashing in things, but, you know, it's fun, but it can get repetitive quickly. Same thing goes for the racer, which I'm going to start talking about right now. The racers, obviously, they can race, they can get into hot pursuits, which are these race slash pursuit type things where you're trying to get away from the cops, and you're trying to race at the same time. While it sounds interesting, it's actually one of my least favorite modes in the game. It gets repetitive very quickly, and it just... I always found myself kind of almost always in last place because the cops were kind of targeting me. So, instead of the other racers, which was kind of weird. I don't know why they weren't trying to target all the racers. Maybe that was just me, but that's what I experienced while playing it. So, as the racer, obviously, you know, you could do other type of time trial modes where you can try and get away from the cops in a certain amount of time, and it can be very challenging and fun. Like I said, I preferred playing as a cop more. Now, in general, features of the game, you know, you have the easy drive navigation thing where you can kind of navigate your GPS and stuff just using your D-pad while driving. It's an excellent feature, and it's very welcomed. I really love that feature. As far as features that this game is missing, this game does not have a split screen mode, so if you're planning on doing split screen, local multiplayer, it does not have a split screen mode, so that kind of sucks, especially for me. But it is something that you have to put up with, especially since it is a open world game, because most open world games do not have split screen modes. But the thing about it being an open world game is the map really isn't that big. The map's environments are very bland and very much the same, and just the graphics aren't bad, but they're not great either. I understand it's a multi-platform game and everything, but this is supposed to be next gen, and I found occasional frame rate problems happening, not frequently, but occasionally, and it just kind of subtracted from the experience. Also, the draw distances aren't great on this game. Sometimes they are good, but other times it kind of just glitches out, and the draw distances aren't the greatest when it does that. Although that rarely happens. Another thing is, like I said, the gameplay can get very repetitive. I mentioned how it gets repetitive on both sides. While it can be fun playing as either, you really need to go into online multiplayer to have a good time, and even then you have to really coordinate with the other people. I went into online multiplayer, and for the first time I wasn't using my headset, and it was a mess. Everyone was just, it's open world, so everyone was just racing everywhere and all, and it was a huge mess. When I put on my headset, we were able to coordinate, and we were able to have a good time. That's where this game succeeds. So, like I said, this game can get repetitive, but overall it's a fun and pretty decent experience, so I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. This game also is getting price cuts as we speak, so you can get this game for about 50 instead of 60, which is its retail price. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and subscribe.